Hey guys, welcome to episode 5 of the Becoming CEO AF podcast. I am your host, Amanda Bell.
I'm your co-host, Chris Kader, aka the Iceman. How
I
y'all doing
love
today?
it. I love it, the Iceman. So, you guys, I'm super excited to come here today because in episode 5, Chris and I were really trying to figure out how we could provide as much value to you guys as possible. And I think that something that we both keep hearing with a lot of the students at CEOAF is, well, I just don't know which step to take next. Well, what step is the right next step? Well, where do I go from there? And so I was thinking about it and I was chatting with Chris about it, and I told him, I said, man, I remember being in that exact same position. And still to this day, occasionally something will come up and I'm like, should I do this or this? And I really have to go conversate with even my business coach or Chris or Kimba or somebody else and say, man, this is where I'm at. And I'm thinking about farming next, right? Because Amanda Bell Realty Group has never farmed a neighborhood. And then I'm like, but why shouldn't you? Or is there a better next step? Like, what does that look like? And so Chris and I decided that today we actually want to conversate with you guys a little bit more about what the next step could be. Now, granted, everybody's going to be in a different position and everybody's going to be just in a different position altogether. So it's going to be from your mental state and your personal life to your business. And so your right next step might be a little different, but I do think that we could share a little bit of information with you guys that will hopefully get you off to a better start than maybe where you're currently at. And then at the same time, you know that you guys can always reach out to Kimba, Chris, or myself because we all three love helping everybody else as well as getting help for ourselves. So, Chris, I'll kind of let you kickstart it off. When you first started in the industry, in your roofing industry, what kind of steps did you take first? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, so roughly about 4 years ago now, I actually started my current property management company. And, I remember it like it was yesterday because it was the fall. It was actually October of 2018 when I started it. And it was the first business I'd ever jumped into. My goal was to provide snow plowing for residential and commercial customers. It was something that a lot of my family members have done in the past, and obviously where we live, we get over 300 inches of snow a year, so it's a very needed service. So I remember actually walking around with my son trick-or-treating in our local town, and I had made up some business cards, and I started handing them out everywhere we went to go get candy. And I actually ended up getting a few customers from that, and then basically just having a short conversation with quite a few people that night, just spreading the word. I do live in a smaller town, between 2,000 and 3,000 people. The word spread, and I was able to garner up enough business to basically start bringing in, it was around 10,000 a month, which was pretty crazy for me because at that time I'd worked for several other employers throughout the years, various industries, and I think the most I ever made per month would have been maybe 5 or 6. So I literally doubled my income right off the bat. So I was very blessed, very grateful for that. And then basically just started adding other services that were very much similar to the snow plowing. So again, up here with all the snow we get, we do end up actually having to shovel our roofs at least twice a year. Otherwise, if it builds up too much, it could cave in or cause leaking or ice dams, that kind of thing. So the same customers I was able to generate for snow plowing, I also informed them, hey, we also do roof shoveling. So we started getting some of those customers sign on for our additional services. Neighbors saw us, word got out, and then just spread. And that's just kind of how it worked. And then once we rolled into the summer, I come from a long line of carpenters. I've done construction on and off all my life. So it's, again, natural to use my own skills. I had a cousin and I hired another guy. And we ended up actually acquiring a commercial contract of sorts to kind of do some smaller repairs. At that time, I was not a licensed contractor. So it fit in our scope of work and established a good relationship with those guys. And actually still to this day do a lot of work for this particular commercial customer. So it's been awesome. But I mean, that's kind of just how we started, just word of mouth and really just focusing on quality. Every job we did, no matter how small it was, we just wanted to treat it as if it was our own home. Like, how would you do it if it was your own house? And that is still something that I remind my crew guys each and every day. It's like, just remember that whatever you do, just make sure you do it as if it was your own house. And something as simple as that has really just kept everything in line and the vision, heading the right way, and obviously keeping our customers at the forefront.
I love that. I love that so much. So, what I took from that entire conversation, you guys, was that Chris went and did what we call pop buys. And he introduced himself to his local community and he popped by and he had the card so they knew how to get a hold of him and he offered a service that was needed in his area. And then he kept up with his current clients so well that he received what we call current client referrals. And so then he started getting that business in. And then those current clients turned into past clients who he also got past client referrals and repeat business from. So taking care of somebody in one transaction, he was able to collect 10,000 probably plus a month. Like doubling his income or more a month without paying for any lead generation or any marketing at all, which I just think is fantastic because as a business owner, whether you're new or you've been in the industry for a few years, the free business is the best business for all of us, and we know that. So I think that's beautiful, Chris. I loved how you did that. I think for me, it was very similar. So I got into the industry. And when I got into the industry, the real estate industry in Texas, it was in June of 2016. And I quickly jumped on with one of the top producing teams because I knew that I did not know anybody that day that was looking to buy or sell a home. And if I didn't know anybody that was looking to buy or sell a home that day, well, guess what? My bills were still stacking up. And so for me, I had to jump on with a team that I knew could help train me and provide me with what I needed to get that off the ground until my current sphere. In my mind, it was until my current sphere knew that I knew enough about it that they trusted me to step in, because that was a concern. And I think that could be a concern for a lot of business owners is that they naturally assume that their friends or their family are not going to utilize their services in the beginning because they're still new. So they don't know if you trust you, and they don't know if they can trust you. And then they don't know if they can even really refer you. And I do think that goes hand in hand with a lot of business owners when they get started. So I do think that a lot of it is on you to get that, I call it the snowball effect, to get that snowball rolling until it's just built up to this massive thing. And I think that pop buys is a great way to do it if you're very sincere like you were, and you're talking about it, but you're also, I like to say, being about it. Because I know that there's a lot of people in the industry that can talk the talk, but when it comes to walking the walk, sometimes they fall short on that line. And unfortunately, you have to learn that the hard way sometimes. So I think that's beautiful how you're doing it. So, Chris, are you currently today paying for business, or is it still by word of mouth and sphere and repeat past client? What are you doing now?
Yeah, so the only thing I'm currently doing or paying for as far as marketing is a large billboard, kind of in between two large towns I live in. And I started that about 6 months ago. And I guess my whole point in doing that, luckily the gentleman that actually put the billboard together is the same company I use that wraps all my trucks and trailers. So he was able to actually build a brand new sign. It's actually one of the larger ones right by, like I said, a busy road. And really I just did that to try to cement in people's minds locally that we're here to stay. I'm not a fly-by-night guy. I'm a father of two beautiful young children. I grew up in this area. I'm a Marine veteran, former police officer. I love to serve people and help people, and especially with now our focus being roofing in the summer. It's one of the largest investments that homeowners put into their home. So I understand how important it is, and everybody needs a roof over their home. So that was my whole goal in putting that out there. And so I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, which has been awesome. And, we do try to obviously ask when calls come through or texts or emails, where they heard of us. A lot of it is just word of mouth. Some of it has come and said, oh yeah, we saw your billboard. But I think at this point now we've been in business long enough that most people have at least heard of us and know of us and know what we provide as far as services. So I would say the other big thing outside of that one paid advertisement is really just having a good presence on Google. Now, like I'm not going to sit here and say that I've mastered it, because as we all know, Google is continuously evolving. And that's where I think you can kind of touch on that on the SEO portion and the different aspects of Google business, but simply taking 10 minutes and putting your business out on Google and then asking your customers for reviews. Not all of them are going to give you reviews, but to try to be diligent about that. And then of course, as you grow and scale, there's different processes put in place to ensure that you capture as many reviews as possible. But we all know the reviews are where it's at. Whenever we try to look for a service online, you look at the reviews. So that has been probably the single most important piece on the internet is that Google My Business, because I've gotten so many leads through that, because people type in roofing contractor near me, best roofing company, and we're right up there in the top 3, thankfully. So it's helped us out a lot. So if you don't have a Google My Business, or if you do and you're looking to improve it, then I certainly would look into that, because it's helped me out tremendously.
I love that. I love that. I actually have a funny story. I don't know if I've shared it with you yet. So Google My Business is not what I went to school for. It's not what I specialize in. And I definitely don't want to ever have to learn Google My Business. But unfortunately, as a business owner, you do have to know enough just to be dangerous with it, which is exactly what I did one night. I stayed up super late. And so let me back up a little bit. So when I first started the Amanda Bell Realty Group, I originally had stuff still going into a personal email account, Gmail account of mine. And I was trying to transition it all into the business account. And so I had 2 Googles, my one under my personal email, but it was structured as the Amanda Bell Realty Group. And then I had one under the Amanda@AmandaBellRealty.com. And so I had 2. So Google was over here telling me like, duplicate, you can only use one. Well, I had one that had like reviews for days. And then I had one that looked very sad. And the one that was very sad was the actual Amanda@AmandaBellRealtyGroup.com. And so I'm trying to merge these bad boys so that I can have this email address that's for the business, but all of these reviews and photos and testimonials, like I wanted all of that stuff with this. So I'm like, that's simple enough. No big deal. I can crush that. So I get home. I end up playing on Google for it was probably close to midnight, and I'm still sitting on the couch because my husband hates the click noise in the bed from the laptop. So I'm like, I'm just going to knock this out on the couch real quick. I'll be to bed in a little bit. It's like midnight, and I can feel myself like sinking into my couch because I'm like over this. And so I'm going to merge them. Well, I just start pressing enter, like, yes, merge them, like, done. And what I did was I actually confirmed with Google like 3 times to delete one of the accounts, the account that I was trying to get to merge. And so when it went away, because I was pressing, okay, yes, that's fine, like do it, get this box out of my way sort of thing. I sat there and I looked, and I'm like looking for, where are all my reviews? Where are all my pictures? So I'm looking, and I get this email like delete confirmation of the deleted account or something came through. And I remember sitting there, and I just closed my laptop, and I took a breath, and my stomach like hurt so bad because I knew what I had just done. And I know how important these reviews are for me and my team, especially when we have so many out-of-state buyers moving into the state. Like, not only is it very important for us as business owners to keep our Google current and live and beautiful for the people that get referred to us by these current clients, past clients, and so on and so forth. But something that Kimba says great, and I'm going to repeat it because she's not here, you guys. She had a wisdom tooth surgery pulled, and so she's just not here. So prayers for Kimba today, you guys. But something that she says a lot is I want to help my team members out, my sales staff out before they ever get to a door. I want these people to know of RKG. So I want to brand our company so well that before somebody ever hits their door or gets in front of them face to face, my sales rep doesn't even have to explain who they are because they're semi-familiar with it. And then if they're not, I want my Google presence to be so beautiful and present itself so well with reviews and photos and testimonials and all those things that just look really attractive to us when we're looking for something and we go searching, that if that person Googles us, that it looks pretty. Well, now Amanda Bell, if you Google Amanda Bell at that day, the very next day, guess what? It's real ugly, like empty. Like, has she ever sold a house? Does she even know what she's doing? Does she need to start all back over with another team so that she can gain confidence and trust? What did she just do? So I was so bummed. My stomach hurt so bad. And you know what was really, really sad about it all is my social media and my marketing manager, Addison, was currently working inside of the new Google account so much and the old Google account so much to make it look pretty. And I had to call her the next morning and tell her what I did, because I was not supposed to be in there, but I was, because I thought I was helping. And so long story short, I'm big on calling the professional in the industry and not trying to tackle it yourself, because unfortunately we just can't know every industry on our own. And so today, thank goodness, I've hired Lead Revenue for $1,000 a month. And they cover all of that, you guys, all of that, to the point where they actually just got done setting up a real estate account for I want to say she's in Texas, for an agent in Texas, or maybe it was Utah, Texas or Utah. So don't quote me on the location, but I can tell you the average agent in Texas typically comes in and they sell anywhere from 10 to 15 homes a year right now. And this lady picked up 12 leads in 1 month after Lead Revenue got done with her Google, because they're just staying so on top of it all. I just thought that was beautiful. So I love that now I'm getting to hand that off to these guys and I don't ever have to touch it again. So that was a fun part for me. I guess, Chris, for today, I think that we kind of hit it spot on with kind of giving them the right next steps, what to look for and where they can start. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think when it comes down to, doing business, you got to make sure the quality's there. You're treating your customers like they're your own family, because they are, right? I mean, they are the reason why you're in business and you're able to, feed your family. So, and yeah, touching on the Google thing, there's no way to get around it. It's just the way people operate now, and I think it's important to kind of look in the mirror once in a while and ask yourself these questions, like, how do you do research? How do you buy products? Because more than likely, that's how your friends, your family, your future clients are doing the same thing. So that's how you want to position yourself. So you're ensuring you're in front of them first and foremost, because nobody clicks on the number 2 page on a web search, right? Scrolls on. If you're not at the top, you're not even in the game. So
yeah,
got to get.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thanks so much for coming on here with me today. I hope that you guys got something out of this podcast. And if you'd like to join us for more of a long term, we do have what we call the conference room for $99 a month. And it's packed with business owners. And you get to jump in a Zoom call that is structured and organized and built to help business owners grow for $99 a month bi-weekly. We also have the coaching programs, Warrior 1, 2, and 3. And that is full-blown commitment, coaching, and accountability from Chris, myself, and Kimba. And so if you guys are interested in all of that, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to grow with you, and we're excited about it.